Hey y'all, welcome back to Mark III Firearms. Today, we're checking out yet another Browning High Power. This one, nothing too crazy. Graphite black Cerakote, but a really cool finish, as you can see. See how it's reflecting light? It didn't actually reflect color. It's really hard to get Cerakote to do this. Usually, this is reserved for bluing or whatnot. That's all, factory texture, the way it came. This is actually one of those high powers that just came out of AIM surplus recently. And that's the factory finish. Didn't do any resurfacing. Kept it very mil spec, if you will. All we did was change out the rear sight instead of that little crappy one that came with it. And for some reason they came with roll pins and the trigger pin, so took that out and replaced it. Just made it a little bit nicer, But really cool, this finish, usually graphite black Cerakote is not going to reflect color and light, as you can see, as it is there. There's two different color lights. This looks really much like bluing, and actually, if this was a really clean surface on the gun, like, it was just completely flat, perfect, it would look like bluing. I've worked on this technique of getting the Cerakote to turn like this, and it's not because I added a whole bunch of hardener for you out there who Cerakote. It's my new technique that I've been perfecting, and it is awesome. As you can see, it looks like bluing. So yes, from now on, if you have an aluminum gun that you want to look like bluing and whatnot, we can make that happen. I mean, look at that. That thing is just reflecting light like crazy. Not quite like a high polish, like show quality bluing, but definitely looks like bluing. And that is Cerakote. You can see how normally the sheen is. Look at the trigger. So that's graphite black left in its traditional form, and the barrel is as well. It almost looks like gray against how high gloss this bluing, or how high gloss this Cerakote is. But that's the same color, but this is a different treatment I'm working on, and it's not clear coat. It's not clear coated over it, so don't think that's what it is. It's not. It's really cool. It took a little while to perfect, but finally getting some really cool results out of it. So yeah, if you want to do, if you're not a big fan of Cerakote, but you have something that can't be blued and you want to look like bluing, or, you want to go the route of having something that has much more of a corrosion and wear resistance than bluing, then I can definitely, or we can definitely offer this for y'all. Mark III Firearms, a first here. If someone else can get graphite black to turn this color, by all means, let me see, but I highly doubt it. This is pretty cool. As far as the pistol goes, like I said, this one came from AIM surplus. They just got a shipment of them in, and they quickly sold out almost overnight, it seemed like. But as far as the trigger, this is not some super crazy trigger like some of the other high powers that we do. But it is cleaned up. It is reprofiled and whatnot as far as the internals and the inner workings of the gun, if you want to call it that, the geometry. So, let's get the magazine out of here. So, there's your click, there's your take up, and a break. So it's definitely more of a combat trigger, as you can see. You can hear that audible little click, little ping, and then it takes up a little bit more, then it breaks. So, still a really nice light trigger. I mean, this is breaking right around, 4 pounds. So, definitely more of a battle style trigger, if you will. But way better as far as travel and take up than the original, and much lighter as well. And this is actually a factory sear. This isn't a cylinder slide sear that we usually use for our trigger jobs. The grips, everything else that came with this gun is just factory. Like I said, the only thing we changed from AIM surplus is we put a trigger pin in here, and we put a different rear sight, because their rear sight that they came with was weird. It had a really sharp, 90-degree cut in the back. Wasn't very attractive. And of course, the trigger pin, if you put a roll pin in there, you have that interrupted surface right there, and it's just grinding. It's almost like cutting into the frame when you're pulling the trigger. It's just, I don't know whose idea that was, but that was, I don't know. Wherever they got those high powers from, whoever decided to put those triggers in with a roll pin doesn't like guns, we'll say that. Anyways, y'all, this thing turned out beautiful. I mean, just the way that it reflects that light, and to believe that that's Cerakote, that's just graphite black. Like I said, you have to really appreciate it, you have to spray Cerakote and know what you can actually get out of graphite black, because that is just awesome. As always, questions, comments, concerns, leave them. We will always answer accordingly. Pretty cool. Okay, y'all. Until next time.